All Cats Are Grey by Andrew North. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lynn Thompson. All Cats Are Grey by Andrew North. Under normal conditions, a whole person has a decided advantage over a handicapped one. But out in deep space the normal may be reversed. For humans, at any rate. Stina of the Spaceways. That sounds just like a corny title for one of the Stella Vido spreads. I ought to know. I've tried my hand at writing enough of them. Only this Stina was no glamour babe. She was as colourless as a lunar plant. Even the hair netted down to her skull had a sort of greyish cast, and I never saw her but once draped in anything but a shapeless and baggy grey spaceall. Stina was strictly background stuff, and that is where she mostly spent her free hours, in the smelly, smoky background corners of any stellar port dive frequented by free spacers. If you really looked for her, you could spot her, just sitting there listening to the talk, listening and remembering. She didn't open her own mouth often, but when she did, spacers had learned to listen. And the lucky few who heard her rare spoken words, these will never forget Stina. She drifted from port to port. Being an expert operator on the big calculators, she found jobs wherever she cared to stay for a time, and she came to be something like the master-minded machines she tended, smooth, grey, without much personality of her own. But it was Stina who told Bob Nelson about the Jovan Moonrights, and her warning saved Bob's life 6 months later. It was Stina who identified the piece of stone Keene Clark was passing around a table one night, rightly calling it unworked slightite. That started a rush which made 10 fortunes overnight for men who were down to their last jets. And, last of all, she cracked the case of the Empress of Mars. All the boys who had profited by her queer store of knowledge and her photographic memory tried at one time or another to balance the scales, but she wouldn't take so much as a cup of canal water at their expense, let alone the credits they tried to push on her. Bub Nelson was the only one who got around her refusal. It was he who brought her Bat. About a year after the Jovan affair, he walked into the free-fall one night and dumped Bat down on her table. Bat looked at Stina and growled. She looked calmly back at him and nodded once. From then on...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?